Now it's time to go Easter egg hunting. We need to find the factory amplifier. Some of you guys are yelling at the screen right now telling me exactly where it's at. That's good and all. However, it wouldn't be this channel if we didn't kind of give you an idea of every car. So yes, this is a Nissan. However, each manufacturer has their little twist on how they do things. And it's very helpful if we take the time and kind of explain to you some places that you may want to look for a factory amplifier. And we'll kind of name them off. So like if you have a Dodge, the Dodge amplifier is typically in the driver's dash to the left of the steering column with all the plugs facing down. It's basically right above that emergency brake if it's there. And the bigger cars like the Ram, even though Ram is not a Dodge, it's a Ram, I get it, it's okay. That could be underneath the driver's front seat. And the older ones, like the old ones with the dash that cracks into a million pieces, those are actually above the glove box, and they're the bane of my existence. And the even older ones than that, they're actually attached to the speakers themselves in each door. That doesn't happen too much anymore because of water damage and stuff like that. And some of your Japanese cars, they've gotten creative. They'll put them in this kick panel area here on the passenger side, all the way up in the dash, sometimes down low in the dash. Dodge does that in like the Dakota too. Some of the other Japanese, like Honda, they like to put them all the way up here at the front of the center console. All the way. And the plugs will typically go out the driver's side, but they're way up in there and you don't usually pull them out. You can get to the plugs because they're facing into the footwell. Sometimes they're in the passenger side, but that's another great place. GM likes to put them up underneath their center console. So does Ford on some of the F-150s. If you got a Ford Premium Audio and you don't see the amplifier behind the back seat, they're underneath the center console, it's gonna suck. And the Toyotas, they like to put them underneath front seat in the bigger trucks. However, sometimes they'll put them behind the back plastic on the driver's side, where you have to pull the seat and pull this whole thing out, and then you'll find an amplifier back there. Your German cars, well, those are typically in the trunk. I mean, that's what they do. It's kind of nice. And then there's everybody else. And in the SUVs, it can get to be a lot of fun. Like in some of the Fords, they're off on this side. And in some of the other Fords, they're off on this side. Ford now, in like the Explorers and Expeditions, it's like there's a radio box over here and an amplifier over there, and it's like, come on guys, really? And in some of the new GMs with the big screens in the dash, the brain box, the radio itself, let alone the amplifiers, like screen in the dash, radio high up in the kick, where it's like you have to be a Cirque du Soleil acrobat to get it out. What that all means for us in this car, it may be underneath the back seat. It's not. But anyways, there's also that. Some of the Toyotas, they put them under the back seat. I guess the all in all, it really just means there's pretty much no specific place to find the factory amplifier. However, a good indicator of where the amplifier could be, like if it's in the back of the car as opposed to the front of the car, is the floor sills. There's a lot of wires that are gonna have to go somewhere, meaning that subwire, the driver's door, the driver's dash, that's 8 wires just for the speakers. If it's in the driver's rear door, it could be a coaxial or a single driver, it could be a separate. This one is a separate, so there could be 4 wires or 2 wires. In these running boards, this area right here could be a bunch of speaker wires. And that's an indicator of where these wires are coming from, back of the vehicle or the front of the vehicle. So it's a good place to start if you're just totally lost and you're looking at the back of the car and you're going, man, I don't want to pull this whole thing apart just to find out it's not there. Look in the floor sills first. So we're gonna go on the hunt, see if we can find the amplifier, because I've given you a lot of options. Why don't you guys guess where you think it is? If you know, don't comment, because let the other guys guess. Now in the mere seconds since we just talked, hopefully you guys paused this and wrote down where you think the amplifier is. But let's take a look. Now, taking my own advice, I always like to take easiest to hardest. Meaning someplace where I can just stick my head without pulling out a panel. Up into a kick panel, feeling up in the dash. Or, in this case, just simply looking underneath the passenger seat. Look at that boy, isn't that sexy? It's right there, boom, done. Now this changes everything. And this is why you take the car apart first before you start running wires. There's no reason for us to put the amplifier underneath the driver's seat. We can go right underneath the passenger seat and we have all our wiring right there that we're gonna need. The sad thing is I know they don't make a harness for this, but that doesn't mean we can't make one, which is probably what we're gonna do. I'm gonna unplug it, I'll meet you guys over on the bench, and we'll take a look at it. This is the factory amplifier, not that big. We're talking like 7.5 by 7.5, good square. It is fairly tall. It's like 2.5 inches tall. On the side here, these plugs, for those of you guys that aren't familiar with tons of plugs, which I totally understand, these are General Motors plugs. These are the same plugs that they use in pretty much every GM. This is a standard GM harness. This is a standard harness for amplified GM, so the likelihood of us finding an adapter for this is actually pretty high. More than likely, we're gonna have to repin it, but we'll address that in a little bit. It does come with this mounting bracket here, which gives us a nice flat area. We might want to retain that. We might not, it just kind of depends. This guy comes off and that gives us this bracket. Probably hammer this little elbow here down flat, and then we can make a bigger bracket that would hold our amplifier. We'll see, I don't know yet, I'm not sure, but that is an option. Let's hop back in the car and we'll see if I've managed to find a harness for this. So 5 minutes in front of a laptop yielded my answer as far as whether there's a harness or not. Now keep in mind, when I say harness, I don't necessarily mean wire for wire harness, I just mean something that's gonna plug in. That's the most important thing. Now as I said, this is a GM harness, even though it's in a Nissan. And Metra, you go to metraonline.com, makes this guy, the 70-2054. This guy right here. It's not a cheap harness for sure. As you can see, it comes with like a ton of wiring. It's made to go in the trunk of a General Motors car. I'm almost guaranteed that those wires aren't the same. So I know I have it, but do I need it? And that's the other thing. Because there's two harnesses there, and depending on what is on the smaller secondary harness, I might not actually need it. I might just need a regular old cheap GM harness. That means we have to do some testing. Now I could have done it the other way, but I just wanted to make sure we had it in stock in case I do need it, and I went over and grabbed it. Get some way to test the speaker. In this case, we're gonna use a tone generator. Grabbing that big 8-pin harness here. Looking at it, I'm pretty sure a lot of these are power and whatnot, so we'll come back to that one, because if we can get all the speakers we need from this harness, then we don't have to even worry about that one. Typically, these harnesses are an over-under, not a side-by-side, meaning that if, you know, whatever's here is below it, side-by-side would be, you know, every two. The easiest way to figure that out is just do a little probing. It's this door here next to me. I'm gonna hop up and see if it's the dash also. Just the door? So that's good. That's the driver's door. Ooh, that's the driver's dash. Passenger dash. That's this side rear door. It has a tweeter, even though we're not gonna use it. I'm just gonna check and see if it's on. It is on, so those are connected. That's the other side. When the rest of these don't do anything, because that's all the speakers that are in the car. That means we are only going to need a cheap GM harness for this, which is great, because that takes the price down like tenfold. I'm gonna return that one, and meet me on the bench and I'll show you the harness we are actually going to need for this car to do the bypass. Best Kits makes this harness here, the BHA 2002. Metra makes it also, it's the same model number. And there's actually like 3 or 4 harnesses that are identical to this. The reason why I picked this one is because it has extra wire. And we're gonna need a couple extra wires, because if you think about it, we're gonna need at least 6 wires in this. 2 for the rear, 2 for the front door, and 2 for the dash. Even though we're doing a 5-channel amplifier, it's gonna be real easy to sum those wires in at the amplifier. And this one has a ton of extra wiring on it in order for us to do that. But these wires don't line up at all. We need to get these wires out of here, and we're gonna build our harness. This is a lot of fun. Now you guys ask me, hey, where do I get this harness? None of these plug in, all right? None of them do. As far as like straight up, get going and rocking on. The first step in making this harness work is removing these 2 darker gray pieces. Flathead screwdriver will pop these out. Keep in mind, you don't have to pull these out if you don't want to. Color means nothing. You could just simply pull out some of these, fill in all these holes, and make it any way you want. You don't have to go like white for this, green for that, gray for that. You don't have to make it that hard if you don't want to. There's little tiny notches on the inside of this, and this little tiny GM extraction tool will allow us to get it out. This is on DNF tool drawer. Stick it into this hole, you're gonna push down a little tab, and then the wire will come out. It sounds really simple. Sometimes it can be a total pain in the butt. When the wire is out, there's a little tiny tab inside of there that needs to be pushed back up into place in order for this to lock back in. Same tool, push up on it, and you're all set. I'm gonna repeat the process on all these, get them all out. I'll meet you back in the car, we'll repin this harness. To make our harness, we're going to use some tools. The Mobile Solutions PT98 Plus makes our job a little bit easier. However, you might not have that tool. I totally understand. If you don't, and you can do this with a digital multimeter, but what you're going to have to do is, it's going to be a little bit harder. Take the door panels off, get to the speaker locations in the car. Polarity pop the speakers. use a 9-volt battery and what you think is positive, what you think is negative. The speaker moves up, that's your positive. Look where your 9-volt battery is, write down that color. Then take your digital multimeter, set it to continuity, take the one end, the red end, put it at the speaker, take the black end, come back to here, and check the wiring. When you hear the beep, then you know that's the right wire. You can put your pin in the harness and do it that way. The way the PT9A Plus works is that the speakers stay in the car, because we might not be changing them, and it's gonna create a popping sound that we can then take a second PT9A Plus and go off to that speaker and read what it says. Turn the unit on, have it set for signal line and output. I take 2 of the leads that I'm going to be putting in the harness, typically the last 2, and attach them to my meter. Don't try to jam something into these things, they're kind of small. You'll get a popping noise like this. Turn my second unit on, set for the same settings. It's gonna make a blinking like that. Go to my speaker, lights up green. That means I have these wires in the right configuration for this harness. Make sure you take the harness and line it up the right direction. And this is the passenger front. That is gonna be my gray leads. Positive is on top, negative is on the bottom. Make sure I get the 2 in correctly. Now don't assume that the next set of speakers are gonna be in the same direction. I mean, like top is positive, ground is negative to match. Sometimes they are, a lot of times they are. There's always that one that's backwards for some weird reason. They love doing that, and that can just screw up your day for sure. Next set, popping noise coming from the other side, but thankfully the outside air compressor from the building next door just turned on. I'm gonna walk over and check it. Fortunately for us, this one actually goes in the same direction. Now we know from earlier testing the next one is the driver's side dash. That one is also wired in the same configuration. For that, I'm gonna use those extra wires that we were talking about. We have an extra yellow and black, the power. I'm gonna use those for that speaker, and then on this side, we have an orange and an orange with a white stripe. I'm gonna use that for this side. This is my side dash. So far, so good. All of them are popping in the direction we would hope. They're all going in the same place. That's this guy here. It's gonna be the purples. My last set of speaker wires. I'll go check those just to make sure. And with that, we have our new harness. On the outside here, this little clip here in the front here where this clip is positive, and the back here with the clip isn't is negative. Passenger front bottom, driver's front bottom, driver's front top, passenger front top, passenger rear, driver's. So for those of you who wanna make this one on your own, there you go. Put the dark gray clips back on. This will lock these in place. And we now have a wiring harness that will plug right into our factory amp. Check your pins and make sure they're all level before you try to plug it in. I like to just go back through it one more time, just making noise out of each one to make sure nothing weird happened and that the things sat in where they're supposed to. Sometimes like a plug will bend or it'll get popped out or whatever you think. And just like that is magic, we have our bypass harness. Cool. The cool thing about it is like this will actually all fold back out like the factory carpet will, so if I didn't want to go here, I don't have to. I could lengthen all these and put it on that side. I still might, I'm not sure yet. It seems like it might be a better idea to put it under that side because of the power wire and what, I don't know yet. So we're gonna keep that one open. We'll kind of figure that one out as we go.